Assalamualaikum to Madam and my fellow friends. Today, our group will represent about the question number 8, which is how Malaysia government can take action to reduce our dependence on expenditure of import goods. So, for the first representative, which is Nurfatihah binti Ahmad, Nur Syahira binti Abu Mansur, and the third one is Nur Adila binti Abdul Aziz. Okay, for the introduction, the expenditure goods import can be defined as a good or service bought in one country that was produced in another. It can be referred as the countries that are most likely to import goods or services that their domestic industries cannot be produced as efficiently or cheaply as the exporting country. This means that the import of the expenditure good is boughten by the country to import goods bring new and existing product to the local economy and make it as possible to build a new product locally. This shows that it's very important to import goods as to extend the profit margin, such as the high tax, wage minimums, and material costs in certain countries, such as in Malaysia, can make it more useful import product from to another country where fees, wages, and material costs are considerably lower. For example, as we can see, between Malaysia and Brunei, made a free trade agreement to the oil especially, and tariff schedule often dictated which goods and material are less expensive to import. For example, between the year 2019, we got the 3 billion for the import expenditure goods of oil, while for the 2020, we got the profit between 4.5 billion of the import of expenditure goods. So this clearly shows, since the oil represents a major import item for many industrialized countries, its price may exert an important influence on import value, such as low elasticity of oil demand to oil price.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Syahira binti Abu Mansur and I will present about the factors on why Malaysia government dependent on expenditure of imported goods. Number one is natural resources. For example, it is stated that in 2018, Malaysia imports about 91.3 million US dollar of refined petroleum from Malta. Malaysia also imported products such as mineral fuels, oils, and distillation products from China. The second factor is technological sophistication. For example, Malaysia imports new technology-based machinery from Japan and United States. And in 2018, until now, it is stated that the top partners, countries and regions from which Malaysia imports machinery and electrical and electronic products include China, Singapore, United States, Japan and other Asia.
Next factor why Malaysia government dependent on expenditure of imported goods is because the demand for nation's goods and services. For example, import of food such as vegetable and fruit. For example, in 2017, Malaysia import 245 million worth of chilies, 238 million worth of mushroom, and 311 million worth of vegetable. In terms of fruits, Malaysia import 204 million worth of coconuts, 74 million worth of mangoes, and 38 million of banana. And the list goes on. And the last factor is relationship between trading partners or diplomatic relation with other country. For example, when Malaysia doing a trading with China and we exchange our import and export product. There are a few methods that government can use to reduce the dependence on imported goods. The first one is Malaysian manufacturers must start to do research and development. For example, develop a new alternative to produce more quality product. Manufacturers in the process will acquire knowledge and expertise to manufacture things on our own in order to make the economy grow, learn and able to produce the product in order to minimize dependence on imported product. The second one is consumer must stop depending on buying imported product and start to support local product, as local product also has the same quality as imported product. Domestic companies or small business also can produce products and services that is almost similar to the imported goods, even though there will be differences from each other. Buying local product also encourage innovation. It increase the national income and expand local product to global market. The third one is trade agreements between Malaysia and another country. Such agreements are planned for stimulating trade and supporting financial development for the two nations involved. Trade agreements commonly focus on the trading of various types of product. For example, our country Malaysia enter into a trade agreement with China that has the largest import product to Malaysia to buy a certain amount of China-made electrical and electronic equipment in exchange for the Malaysia increasing its export manufactures of metal to China.
The next method number 4, is government provide subsidies to domestic businesses. It's as government initiative to encourage domestic businesses to produce more higher quality and quantity of local products and services. The government also can come up with special subsidies for local tours, travel agencies and hotels to help keep the domestic businesses expand. Other than provide subsidies, the government can also provide special and easier approval for loans to small and medium businesses to overcome their cash flow issues. Method number 5 is impose taxes and quotas on imported goods. When a consumer does purchase a higher price imported good with a tariff imposed on it, the consumer now has less money to spend on other things. So this forces consumer to either to buy less of the imported good or less of some other good, ultimately lowering the purchasing power of consumers. And it is important to remember that although consumers may pay higher price because of tariffs and have limited options, but it has potential benefit for us, which is that our domestic sales of goods can increase, ultimately leading to higher domestic sales and more jobs for companies inside the country.
The government tend to reduce the expenditure of imported goods to our country. Domestic companies against foreign companies, they should be able to compete with each other when we tend to produce similar goods and services to the foreign company. They will be different in terms of price because imported goods are way much cheaper, and they will be different in quality, different on certain knowledge in resource and skills. The next one is imports make a country dependent on other country political and economic power, because imports are important for the development and growth of national economies, because not all countries have the resource and skills required to produce certain goods and services.
The other impacts on reducing imported goods is government can keep protecting the domestic market and strategic sectors in Malaysia, because consumers will buy on local product first rather than imported goods. By impose taxes and quotas on imported goods, it will increasing the price of the import, so that those high price give an advantage to domestic products within the same market and are used to protect our nation's industry. And this is also ultimately can lead to higher tax revenue collected. So it's very benefit for our country. The government view is that by protecting these domestic industries, we can maintain jobs through increased sales of domestic goods. At number 4, limited choices for goods and services. There are less choices of variety of goods and services available for consumption by consumers in a country after reducing some of imported goods. And of course, it will affect the consumers, which they cannot enjoy much some of goods or services which cannot be produced in our country due to geographical and other factors. Impact number 5 is sharing of knowledge, information, and technologies by countries. As we know through international trade, there will also be a sharing of knowledge, information, and technologies by countries, which means imports of technological sophisticated goods help our countries to raise the quality of our own products and the efficiency with which they are produced in the production, and it will lead to the efficient domestic industries in our country. This is the statistics from Department of Statistics Malaysia, which shows the total of imported goods by our country at the latest years, which is from the year 2018 until 2020.
Okay, last but not least, for the conclusion, the import of international trade could maintain cost competitiveness in domestic market, where they can increase the effectiveness in production. This is because with all the country will attempt to accept the better ways of production to maintain the cost as low as possible in order to remain competitive. For example, like in national income, it might be increased because of the increase of technology development that they were having in Malaysia. For example, to import the material of production to create a new quality product. This really show that the import of the expenditure goods are the key component of the process of globalization and homogenization of consumption and production by the country to gain more profit for the every years. So, however, this show that the government can take action to reduce our depend on expenditure of import goods in order to keep protecting our domestic industries. So that's all. Thank you.